In the last class of technical writing, we saw what is technical writing, what are the characteristics of technical writing, and how technical writing differs from academic writing. Okay, so moving on from that, in this class we are going to discuss about the communication process. Okay, what are the process of communication? So this is the introduction to communication. It is derived. The word communication is derived from communis, a Latin term. In general, we know what is communication, right? It refers to the exchange of reciprocal in the sense that front and back, back and front. Okay, that is the reciprocal meaning. Vice versa, we call it as exchange of information, ideas, facts, opinions, and whatever it may be. Through verbal or non-verbal by means between two people or within a group of people. So for communication to take place, there must be minimum two people. So in a way, in this class, we are communicating to each other, right? I am talking, you are also sharing your knowledge. So that is the process of communication. Okay, it is an exchange of information of ideas between two or more than two people, right? So this is a standard definition of communication. So according to Webster Dictionary, it is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols and signs of behavior. Yeah, we know what to talk, we know how to talk, we are not what do you call dumb, so we can talk by means of words. Okay, that is verbal communication, oral communication. If the person is not able to talk, then if he is using sign language, that is also one type of communication. So we will see that in the types of communication, bro. Everything is a communication, not only talking, other kinds of communication is also there, right? So what is the meaning? So I'm not going into this. We know what is communication and the context, right? So we need not dwell on this particular aspect, right? It is in simple, it is a process through which individuals exchange their ideas. Simple, right? So this is the process of communication. Coming to this, so communication involves these many components. There should be a sender. Here we will take our class as an example, right? There should be a sender. So sender is I am the teacher. That is a sender. Who is the receiver? The students. You are the receiver. Okay. So the message channel. What is a message channel? That is Google Meet, right? So this is the process, three important process of communication. So after I am teaching through Google Meet, you are receiving my class, receiving the information through Google Meet. So you are the receiver, and then you are giving feedback to me, right? So this is the overall process of communication, right? In simple examples. So what are the elements? So this is what we saw. So we are going to see the elements separately. Referent. First is referent. Referent or the motivates the sender to share information that may initiate communication. Here I am the referent, right? It motivates. It motivates the sender. I am motivated to teach you, right? That is the. It motivates the sender to initiate communication. For example, a nurse citing a patient with difficulty in breathing may serve as a referent to nurse promoting or initiate to communicate with patient. So this is an example of a referent, right? A sender. A referent is nothing but it motivates the sender. It is not the sender. It motivates the sender. Okay. I'm motivating you to teach. Okay. I'm motivating you to study, to learn. Sender is a person who encodes and sends a message to the expected receiver through an appropriate channel. In this case, teacher, I am the sender. So I am a person who encodes and sends the message. My aim is to teach the subject. Okay, teach the subject. So I am encoding in such a way that you should be the receiver, that is you. The student should be able to understand, okay, through a proper channel. So today we are using Google Meet as a channel. Simple. The sender is the source of the message. So I am the source of the message. So I am the source for teaching you the subject, right? So that means I am the sender. The teacher is the sender. Message. What is mean by the message? The content which is delivered, that is a message. In this case, the communication process. Today we are learning about communication process. That is the content. So that is the message. The message is the content of the communication that may contain verbal, non-verbal or symbolic language, whatever it may be, depending upon the type. Okay. Channel. A channel is a medium through which message is sent or received between two people. See, I have the content about this subject, right? I have prepared this presentation. So you are the student. The center is there. content is there, and students, you are there, receiver are there. So how do I send this message to you? How do I teach it to you? So I am using a channel called Google Meet. So that is called as channel, right? So the channel can be classified based on the communication, based on different types. Visual, it may be visual, audio, tactile, or combined channel. Facial expressions, body language, postures, gestures, pictures, written words, what electronic mails. These are examples of visual channels. Audio channels, auditory channels is words, sounds, telephone. Without seeing the face, you are just calling. That is an auditory channel. Tactile channels is touch sensation, therapeutic touch. Okay, by touching, and that is a tactile channel. Combined channel is, it includes both audio and video. So Google Meet is a combined channel. I can hear your audio and I can also see your face, right? You can also see my face and you can also hear my audio. There is a possibility, and spoken words, everything. So this is a combined channel. This is a categorization of channels of communication. So next, so again this is coming. Oh, okay. Next is the receiver. Next is the receiver. So in this case, I'm giving you this our example because you can able to understand it. Receiver. Who is the receiver? Students. You are the receiver. An individual or a group of individuals intend to receive and decode and interpret the message sent by the sender, source of the message. A receiver is also called as decoder. Okay, remember this. So receiver is nothing but whoever receiving the information. So in this case, I am sending the information about this content communication process to you, to students. So in this case, the teacher is the sender and the communication channel is the Google Meet. The content, the message is the presentation PPT, and the receiver is students, 6 students, right? So feedback. So after the process, everything, after sender sends the message, teacher presents content through Google Meet to the students. So you are giving the feedback, right? Whether you understood the content, whether you understood the subject or not. That return of message sent by the receiver, that your feedback, that you are sharing your thought, that process is called as feedback. Confounding elements. These elements are not a direct part of the flow. They are not a direct plot, but influence the communication process significantly indirect. They are interpersonal variables. The interpersonal variables of the receiver and the environment where the communication takes place. So what are these interpersonal variables? Perception, beliefs, social background, educational development, emotion, gender. For example, there are interpersonal variable. I am saying this with a specific example. Okay, so I am taking this class and today you might be in a boring mood. You are not interested to attend this class, but I may not be able to know that, right? The center is not knowing that. The receiver only these kind of beliefs. Okay, you might have having urgent work, but yesterday, simple example is yesterday Abhilash asked to leave for Onam, right? Because Onam is very popular in Kerala. It is celebrated in Kerala. It is a famous festival. So he wants to celebrate Onam, but I kept class. I didn't give leave because I didn't give leave. So Abhilash might be frustrated. So that is a confounding element. That is not directly part of the communication. Okay, but it is an element. It depends upon the ability, individual belief, right? So this is a specific example of confounding element. Okay. So what are the types of communication? The types communication can be categorized based on these 4 parameters. So what are they? Based on the means of delivering the message, how you are delivering the message. Based on that you can categorize it. And purpose. What is the purpose of communication? Based on that you can classify it. Levels and patterns. So we will see how communication is classified based on these 4 parameters. The first one is based on delivering the message. Based on delivering the message, we are categorizing communication into different types. The first one is verbal communication. It occurs through the medium of spoken or written, a combination of several words which used to convey a specific meaning. It combines both oral as well as written. Oral communication is nothing but which is expressed by words, by speaking, that is oral. Written communication is expressed by writing. So when you combine both oral and written communication, it is called as verbal communication. Simple as that. Here you see, I am speaking and I have given PPT also. See, oral and written. So this is what we are doing is a verbal communication. Simple as that. This classroom teaching through Google Meet is a verbal communication. Okay. So what are some of the subtypes of verbal communication? Spoken, written, telecommunication, electronic communication. You all know that, okay? So what is non-verbal? We saw what is verbal, right? Both oral and as well as teaching written is verbal. Non-verbal is without words also you can communicate. Without using any words or talking also you can communicate. Where the five senses and the whole range of body movements, posture, gest, facial expressions. If I am seeing you in a distance, if I am seeing you, we two are 10 meters distance apart. You are teaching me. You are showing an hand gesture like yeah, you have seen me. That is non-verbal communication. And what do you say? Sign language, right? Most players do in football. Most players do. They don't talk because the opponent will understand. They will just make eye contact. I'm just running here. You pass the ball there. These kind of communication are called as non-verbal communication, right? Without communicating using words or spoken language, signs, just based on signs. I'm just saying bye. By raising a hand, I'm saying bye. That is a sign communication. I'm not saying directly by using my mouth, using the word, but I'm just showing an hand gesture. Okay, that means I'm leaving. So these kind of using gestures based on the senses and other facial reactions, these are called as non-verbal communication, right? So non-verbal communication may be accomplished by the following means. Touch. I am touching you. Okay, that is one kind. Eye contact. As I said in the football game, players make eye contact. They won't talk actually. Based on the eye contact, they will understand. So I'm just eye contact, just shaking the head. I'm going to run here. You pass the ball me here. That's it. Simple. Facial expressions, posture, age, sound, silence. So everything is a part of non-verbal communication. Which is not used to speak out loudly, right? Formal communication. Formal communication involves line of authority as generally used in organization, right? Okay. Formal communication is what do you say? It follows a hierarchical structure. For example, if the university wants to send message to students, or a circular to students, the vice chancellor will not directly talk to the students. Okay, he will send it through the formal authority. Okay, based on a circular through deans, HOD, teachers, and then you will receive the information. That is called formal communication. Though the recipient, you are the receiver, the university wants to send information to the student that online class will start 17th, right? They will not send directly. They will send it through, in case of vacation. Tomorrow is a holiday example. So they will send a circular. Normally they will send a circular. The vice chancellor will sign it and they will forward it to all the HODs, and the HOD will send it to the staffs, and staff will inform you the information regarding the leave for tomorrow or not leave, whatever it may be, right? So there is a formal structure. Directly the university, the vice chancellor will not contact the student. So there is a protocol, there is a hierarchical structure, the communication flows. That is formal communication. So the opposite of formal communication is informal. Informal communication does not follow any line. Example of communication or chit chat. You friends, informal communication usually happens between same level of authorities, right? Same level of hierarchical structure. For example, you students are of same level. Okay, assistant professors of my department are of same level. We talk in a friendly way without any without any formal respect. We talk in a friendly way. Okay, this chit chat, it usually happens between friends, families, peer groups. These kinds of communication. For friends like you don't need to respect address yourself by sir, right? You are addressing me as sir because I am your teacher. You are having a formal communication with me. Okay, but between friends and family, you don't have that formal line. Okay, you don't have that. Though you respect your elders, your parents, but you don't follow that formal pattern of communication. You don't address your parents by sir. Yeah. You don't. You will have that respect, but still you will follow a friendly communication, right? So that is called as informal. Therapeutic is it takes place between. Therapeutic is nothing but the word therapeutic refers to treatment, right? Therapeutic takes place between healthcare personnel and patient with the purpose of modifying the patient behavior. So you are injured, right? For example, you are injured and you look very scared. So what the nurse or doctor says that no, don't worry, it is nothing, it will eventually go. So doctor gives you motivation not to worry about the injury or the disease what you are having, right? So that kind of communication, trust, kindness, empathy is called as therapeutic communication. It happens between the doctor. If the doctor comes and scares you, no, you are going to die within 1 hour, means what? It will create panic among you. Already you are scared. Okay, you don't know what happened to you. No, the doctor comes in and comforts. comforts between the patients and their colleagues. Nothing to worry. It is just a small injury. It will cure within no time. So these kind of communication to establish trust and empathy is called therapeutic communication. Intrapersonal is you talk with yourself. Okay, you talk with yourself. Sometimes you talk with yourself. There is no second person involved. You're talking, for example, before starting the class, if I am talking with myself, so today I am going to take this class, this is my lesson plans. I am talking with myself to how to conduct the activity. So that kind of communication is called as intrapersonal, talking with one own self. Okay, it is essential. Sometimes it is essential to reinforce yourself before you are going to an interview. The next candidate is you, right? So what you do is you are waiting in the hall, you are waiting in the line, right? So you are talking to yourself, be confident, so you can do it. So these kind of self talk will encourages you to perform better, right? Interpersonal, it takes place between two or more people, right? As I said earlier, the definition of communication. The most common is in our daily life when we talk with friends, parents, or teachers, whatever it may be. That all category falls into this interpersonal. Talk between more than two or more people, right? There should be a sender and a receiver. That is interpersonal. If you are talking with yourself, means that is intra. Learn the difference, okay? Transpersonal. It takes place within a person's spiritual domain. To realize selfhood, enhance spirituality, answer questions that are spiritual in nature. Everyone follows different kinds of religion. So to answer the questions spiritually, it requires transpersonal, right? That kind of communication to seeking answer to spiritual domains is transpersonal communication. Small group communication is a kind of interpersonal only. uh, with the small group, now we are doing a small group communication only when there is only 6 students, right? If the students are large, more than 50, it's a large group, or mass communication, that is small group. A group with a little audience, okay. Staff meetings, your only staff meetings of assistant professor of this department, that is a small group. If whole university is meeting, means that is a large group. That is small group with a limited audience or a specific target group, right? Public communication is a large group of people, mass media, mass communication we call it as, right? So I am taking this webinar, whatever webinar I have taken, there are large people, more audiences are there, right? So that is a public communication. I am taking this class only to our students, that is small communication. If I am taking this class to like a webinar to all the students, of our university, means that is public communication. Simple. Organization communication takes place within the organization, okay, like memo, circular, whatever it may be, only within the organization. It is not applicable to others, right? The college is starting tomorrow, means only for our university, simple, not for others. So within the organization. One way communication is it takes place, the message are delivered to the audience without expecting any feedback, right? I am just giving information, simple. I am just communicating to you. I am not expecting to talk or anything to get your feedback in return. Okay, it's a lecture delivered in a classroom. That should not be like that, but that is not an example, to be honest. Lecture delivered in a classroom is a one-way communication. That is what they have categorized. But teaching should involve both two-way. I should get the opinion, but you remember this example to understand what is one-way communication. But teaching normally should involve two-way communication. The students, should also talk so that the teacher can know what the students have actually understood the concept or not. So one-way communication is like what do you say, kind of a meeting, a formal meeting where the vice chancellor talks or university talks or lecture in a classroom. So only one way. The others will not talk. Okay, they will just listen. That is one-way communication. Two-way is when the communicator and the audience take part, kind of a workshop. When you are having a workshop and I am teaching, if you are having doubt, you can raise questions. Sir, I didn't understand this. That is two-way communication. Okay. One-to-one communication means I am taking this class individually to everyone, not the 6 students as a whole. I am taking to Abhilash separately, Ritesh separately. That is one-to-one communication, right? One-to-many, when one person communicates with many people at the same time. What we are doing is now it is one-to-many. Many-to-one. Many-to-one communication, when several people communicate with one person. When you all 6 people talking to me, that is many-one. When I am talking to you, that is one-to-many. Understand the difference, okay? You are talking to me. Interview is the best example of Many to one, because the candidate will be one only, right? The candidate is only one candidate for interview at the time of the interview, right? There will be many candidates applying, they will become, but at the time of the interview process, only one candidate can go at a time. So only one candidate is there, and the experts are many, 6 to 7 experts. They are communicating with them. So that is an example of many to one and one to many. So these are the facilitators. Remember the 7 C's of communication. Communication should always be complete. It should be concise. Uh, it should be considerative, clarity, courtesy, and these are the essential 7 C's. That is the facilitators of communication. What are the other possible attributes, right? Attitude. The attitude should be good when you are communicating. If you are angry, means the communication will not be effective. Improving communication skills, feedbacks. Whatever I have delivered, I should get feedback from you. Then only I can understand and evaluate myself, right? Goal oriented communication. See, because our goal is today to teach this particular topic, right? If I, instead of teaching, I am talking something else, means the goal is not there. So communication should be goal oriented, using creative alternative approaches. I am using PPT and other videos tools for this, or else it will be boring. Warmth and friendliness. It should be friendly and openness with respect, empathy, and comfortable environment. You should be comfortable to share your ideas. If it is strict, means no one will be there, right? So what are the barriers of communication? Where are the barriers of communication? Barriers means hindrance, stopping. Okay, what are the barriers? Struggles. What are the barriers means affect? What are the things that affect? Remember the affect the communication process. Okay, first is psychological barrier. Psychological barrier is lack of attention, discomfort, poor health, hearing problems. So if you are having these kind of problems, if I am teaching, okay, you are there, I am there, but if you are not having interest to attend, that is lack of attention, then the communication will not take place, right? Communication will take place, but it will not be effective. But whatever I have tried to teach you, you will not be able to understand because you are not attending. But if you are having poor hearing skills and other problems, so then also it will be different. And the information is overload. If I am showing 500 slides or something, many information you will not be able to understand. Okay, so the information should be short and goal oriented. So these are some of the psychological barriers. Environmental barriers is background noise, poor lighting, uncomfortable setting, distance, hot, cold room, depending upon the environment. So now our environment is online, right? So Ajas has said that he is having network issues. So that is the environmental barrier for this class. Okay. So network issues and lighting and what do you say, audio visibility. If I am talking and other noises are coming, means you will not be able to hear what I am saying. So these kind of barriers are called as environmental, depending upon where the communication takes place, right? So and then first is physiological. Sorry, that is not psychological. First one is physiological. So now we are going to look at the psychological. Physiological is physical attributes. So regarding health and other things. Psychological is unhappy emotions, emotional disturbances, illness, worry and emotional disturbances, fear, anxiety, thinking. These kinds of misunderstanding. When I am teaching something else and you are understanding the concept in a wrong way or another way, that affects the communication process. So this is psychological barrier, right? Social barriers is diffidence in social norms, values, behavior, different social strata. Cultural barriers is the social barriers in the sense is uh, social norms. If I go to another country or something, the norms there will be the socialization norms there will be different. So I will be able to find it difficult to communicate with people in England than people in India, right? The communication process will be difficult. Cultural barriers, ethnic, religious, or cultural differences, right? If I come to Bihar or if I come to Delhi, the culture is different. If you go to another country, the culture is different. I'll find it difficult. The people from one place will find it difficult to communicate from people from other place. These are the five difficulties they are facing is falls under social and cultural barrier, ethnic, religious, and cultural differences, cultural traditions, right? Semantic barriers. Semantic is the involves language barriers. So if I know only English, you know only Hindi, there will be barrier. We cannot able to communicate. We cannot able to communicate, right? You know only Hindi, I know only English. I don't know Hindi, you don't know English. So how will we be able to communicate? So that comes under semantic. That is a language barrier. faculty language translation, faulty language translation. That is also a problem. I am asking Abhilash to translate because I know only English, you know only Hindi. So what I do is I am asking Abhilash. So he knows both. For example, he knows both Hindi and English. So I am using Abhilash as a translator. Example, right? So whatever I am teaching, he is translating for you. So if he does wrong translation, the communication will not be effective. And individual differences in expression and perception, past experience of individual. So for example, past experience, if the teacher and students does not have a good relationship, that will affect the communication process. Organizational barriers. These are some of the organizational barriers and process related barriers, right? Technical failure, time pressure, size of the organization, and unclear message, stereotype approach, inappropriate channels. Instead of Google Meet, if I am asking you to in some other instead of Google Meet, if you are just communicating via email, this will not be effective, right? Google Meet, this medium is good to communicate, take teaching for online, right? So if I use only email or only chat message, the communication will not be as effective as this. See that inappropriate channels, time pressure. Oh, within one day I have to complete the syllabus. Means that will not be practical. So if the time pressure initiates poor communication, these are organizational barriers. So these are some of the methods to overcome these barriers, right? We should ensure each other's comfort, the listening should be active, information overload must avoid. I should provide information only specific, content oriented, instead of dragging outside the content, right? So these are some of the basic and methods, some methods to overcome environmental barriers. The first one is the method to overcome physiological barriers. So for environmental barriers, lighting must be ensured, comfortable seating. So here our environment is online, right? So the technical internet connection should be good and everything. If everything is good, okay, the communication will be effective. Psychological barriers is trustworthy manner and avoid feeling of prejudice, resentment, and antagonism. Free from fear and anxiety. Should not harbor negative emotion. The communication should be such a way that it should be positive. I should encourage you to participate in this class. So these are some of the tips to overcome psychological barriers. To social barriers, difference in social norm. Social beliefs must be kept in mind. I should respect everyone's social beliefs, right? You might be from different religion. I should respect you. Your religion, you should respect my religion. Then only the communication will be effective and it will be goal oriented, right? Everyone, I should respect everyone's belief. You will be having different beliefs. I will be having different beliefs, right? I should respect that. You should respect that. Then the communication will be more effective. To overcome cultural barrier. Consider cultural differences. Yeah, you are from Kerala. Your different. Your culture is different. I am from Tamil Nadu. My culture is different. You are from Bihar. Your culture is different. So I am. So we have to embrace it. We have to like each other's culture. We have to respect each other's culture. So you are use a common language, right? For semantic barriers. So once we understand and once we respect each other's culture, social and other behavior, the communication will be so good. So my organization barriers is organization policy rules and regulation. Organization structure must be simple, right? Organization structure should be simple. You need to complete the syllabus before this semester, not within one day or 1 month. So if the structure is simple and flexible, it's easy. Larger organization divided into smaller sections. That's what university into different departments, right? So for overcome process related is appropriate channel. Which channel is perfect to use for teaching online? We are using Google Meet because we are finding this is convenient and easy. There are other channels also because for whichever is easy and whichever is appropriate. Instead of only WhatsApp message, can we teach using only WhatsApp message? So it will be difficult. Though we can do it, but it will be difficult. So appropriate channel is essential to overcome this process related barriers, and message must be clear without information overload, right? And feedback should be essential. So whatever I taught you, your feedback is essential for me so that I can continue with this kind of teaching, or I need to change to different style of teaching or whatever, which is important for you to make you understand, right? Make you learn. So these are some of the conversational skills and listening skills. These are just basic, focusing, sharing information, providing information. These are conversational skills. And listening. While listening, what you have to do, you have to be active. You have to be silent. And you have to listen with purpose for understanding. So today I need to understand this. That is your purpose. So conversational skills relate to teachers and listening skills related to students, right? And after understanding, you have to give feedback. Sir, I didn't understand this. You can give feedback. Sir, this one was not clear. This was good. You can give feedback. Okay. Technical skills is sharing feeling and hope, presenting empathy, sharing observations by practical my experience during my tenure as a librarian. What are the difficulties I faced? If I share that with you, so when you go to work, you will understand. Okay, so these are some of the technicals. So coming to the last part, this is the reference source which was used to present this, prepare this presentation actually. So this is all about the overview, basics of communication process. So thank you.